Welcome back to I do my own work on a car for the first time in the history of ever. This is all a bit of a cluster. I'm not gonna lie to you. It ain't easy being a baller. Okay, this is an exciting episode. We are back at HD Automotive. The GQ is behind us. In the last episode, you would have seen us pull our blown TD42 out, prep the bay, clean it. We've painted some bits and pieces. We unsuccessfully put a fuel tank in it because I cocked it all up, but that's okay. In today's episode, engine is getting assembled. All the accessories, all the bits and pieces that'll make it from a long motor to a proper motor are gonna get put on it. Then, this glorious bastard of a Donnelly creation will go into its hole, hopefully for what is the first and final time. And I did have to go and buy a new fuel tank, so we've got that to put in it too. This is gonna be a massive episode. We're getting so close to that first start and having this GQ on the road. Let's dive in. Okay, now before we go and put everything on this engine and put the engine in the car, let's quickly run it back to what has actually been done to this TD42. I know there's probably a few of you guys seeing this build series for the first time. Some of you may have glossed over the sort of in-depth technical episodes we did at Donnelly's whilst doing all the machine work, engine building, and assembly side of things. So this is the TD42. I bought 2 wrecked engines and we basically used no parts from them because people that own TD42s stereotypically are scum. Starting from the bottom, we've got a billet crank, ACL race bearings, ARP, main cap bolts, conrod bolts, and head studs. We've got forged rods, we've got mild genuine pistons, we've got a flowed head. Donnelly did a whole bunch of little wizardries and secret sauce in there to make it flow as good and as efficiently as possible. We've got upgraded valve springs, upgraded valves, Dirk water pump, Ross Performance balancer, HPD billet breather, Platinum Racing products, billet, oil cap, turbo timing case. I think that's pretty much it. I'm sure I'm forgetting some stuff in there. But anyway, we did all the machining, we did all that stuff. This thing should be a reliable powerhouse for years and years and years and years and hopefully sound super sick. Very excited for all of that. But as you can see right here, it is just a long motor. It is missing a whole bunch of stuff that needs to hang off the side of it before we can dump it in the car and actually make it run. Thankfully, massive thanks to Hayden at HD Automotive, but also the team at UFI. They have come through with the absolute performance goods. We've got pump, turbo, we've got manifolds, we've got all sorts of exciting bits and pieces upstairs. We're gonna go run you through all of those bits and pieces, all the stuff that's gonna bolt onto this and run you through exactly how much power this is gonna make and why we've made the decisions that we have to not try to push for that 300 sort of plus. Anyway, shall we? Let's go. Let's go upstairs. What are you doing? Hurry up.
Welcome to the boosted table. This is a collection of all the UFI goodies that we're going to need to take this engine from a hunk of metal to a 270 horsepower, not quite fire breathing, partial, kind of a monster. So starting off with the most beautiful thing of all, we have that UFI 21L turbocharger. That is the second biggest option that they do for an off-the-shelf turbo for the TD42. It is a turbo that's going to match response as well as maximum performance to achieve that 270 horsepower mark, and let's call it around that 750 to 800 newton meters of torque at the wheels. Now, that's all no good if you don't have one of these bad boys. That's our 12 millimeter 270 horsepower pump. That's gonna bolt straight up to the TD. And the beautiful thing about this pump is that it is brand new. That means there's no exchange, there's no send your pump here, send your pump there, miss that when it comes back, you've lost this, you drop that. It's brand new. It means you just get a new one, bolt it on, away you go. Calibrated and set up at United Fuel Injection to give you a perfect result every time. Minimal dyno tuning is actually needed to these pumps once you get it bolted onto the car, and that's the beauty of going with a trusted brand when it comes to your fuel system on your TD. Now, all that's no good if you don't have a clutch to actually hold the power. So United Fuel Injection have actually developed a clutch kit that goes along with the TD that bolts up to the factory flywheel, and it's going to make sure that you can put all this horsepower to the wheels without any clutch slip, whether you're towing, big tires, etc. So that's our turbo and fuel system side of things. Obviously, whenever we're upgrading fuel system on a TD, we always go and replace the injectors, as we have here with a brand new genuine set of Zexel TD42 injectors, paired up with our new return rail, as well as a set of brand new genuine, actually not quite genuine, Japanese standard glow plugs in the brand that is HKT, made in Japan. So we use those. Obviously here we got our radius dump pipe that bolts up to the UFI turbo and means that if you've got a 3-inch exhaust, whether it be standard or aftermarket or whatever, you'll be able to bolt that straight up, making this a DIY friendly fitment with no fabrication needed at all. Now let's talk about manifolds. In front of us we have two manifolds, our exhaust manifold and our intake manifold. The boys at Hyperfab have made this up. It's a very nice looking sort of side entry manifold. That's just going to help us with the cooler piping and a bit of airflow distribution to each cylinders, given the tapered design. Typically we have our inlet snout coming off the top in a sort of flat tank design. It doesn't really distribute air as nicely as it would with, say, this tapered edge here, forcing airflow into each cylinder equally. Now, exhaust manifold, these are a new one and I'm very excited about these. This is the Tilix merge style manifold. The beauty of these is that they are a cast design. They're not a hand fabricated manifold, meaning that there's going to be hundreds of them available with stock ready to go pretty well all times. You can get these HPC coated, but this one is raw. We are going to get this coated before we put it on the car so it stays looking immaculate. But what that does is that situates the turbo in that center position on the manifold here and puts it up high, out of harm's way, keeping the dirt and dust away from your turbocharger, water, things like that. Now this is what we call a merge style manifold. As you can see here, each individual runner along it does flow directly into the turbine area of the collection area, sorry, where the turbine of the turbo bolts up to, giving us the maximum amount of exhaust flow and heat and energy into that turbine as possible, meaning we get the maximum response, maximum spool, and just makes things go good. So every high performance diesel engine needs a merge style manifold. Of course, to finish it all off, we just got our bits and bobs, fittings, and things to go with the turbo. So that's the boosted table. That's what you need to take your hunk of metal to 270 horsepower. All these parts brand new, ready to go.
You done this time again, eh?
I can breathe now. Holy.
Let's go take these and put them on the car.
Yeah, let's do it.
Excited. Daddy's little update. Hello everyone, welcome back to Sam hasn't got the appropriate parts to put the engine in the car, episode numbered 17. It looks like we haven't done much. That's because we haven't. But what I have done is put hundreds of kilometers on my car, driving around Brisbane, the Gold Coast and the Sunshine Coast, collecting the things that I thought we had but we don't have and we critically needed. So, last night down to the Gold Coast, got a vac pump. This is all a bit of a clusterfuck, I'm not gonna lie to you. This was a GQ non-turbo TD engine. So normally the vac pump would be on the alternator. No dramas, we had an alternator with a vac pump. At Donnelly's, because the front timing cover and the housing was all flogged, we swapped it to the factory turbo timing cover, which suddenly meant we needed to get a vac pump that goes on the back here and not on the alternator, which we didn't have. So we had to go get that. We're also waiting for stuff like the front timing cover. We're waiting for this little vac pump oil feed that goes behind the injector pump. Again, these are all things that need to be genuine parts and we are waiting for them. I've just driven around down the road. We've got ourselves some brand new genuine injector lines. We've got some brand new genuine injector clamps and brackets as well. So hopefully we're going to be able to get some stuff air freighted to us overnight. Get those bits on, get the pump on, put our new injectors in, our new glow plugs, our new glow rail, our new spill rail. There's so much to do. I really wish I was more organized and had the appropriate parts. But you win some, you lose some. Yeah. Hopefully we get the bits very shortly. I'm about to make a couple of phone calls and we're going to see what happens. Otherwise, through the magic of television and this episode, we will have all the correct parts now.
We got spirit, yes we do. We got spirit, how about you?
It's definitely in worse condition. Lovely black tank. Our lovely powder coated thing. This may actually not go on as nice because it's been dented to suit the last tank. Like it's obviously had a hit, but well, that's it. Okay, so we are waiting on a few bits and pieces, parts and stuff from Patroller Part, all the genuine stuff. Front and rear timing covers, a couple of O-rings, the oil line that goes to the vac pump, a few other random bits and pieces, but that's okay. We have still got a fair bit to do before we're ready for all that shit yet anyway. We've got the Tilex high mount cast manifold, the merge mani on there, just as a placeholder for now, and the turbo obviously fitted up. Before we go and put the intake manifold on, we are going to just put in new glow plugs, new glow rail. We can then go and do injector washers, injectors, spill rail, and that, and then obviously manifold and then lines. Get that all done, and then hopefully that'll keep us busy for the rest of today at least, and then hopefully tomorrow our bits and pieces rock up to be able to finally put our injector pump on, get it all buttoned up, and then dump it in the car. We've got a whole bunch of like sort of race style hard mounts for the engine and stuff, so hopefully they're pretty hardy and make life easy. Everything is brand new. We've got our high output alternator on here, which is black. We're waiting on things like the water pump pulleys still, but overall it's coming together. In the scheme of things, it's currently Tuesday. Hopefully if all our parts are here tomorrow afternoon, Wednesday, it should be in the car. Gives us a little bit of time to get it running before the end of the week, which is a pretty impressive feat. We've got the tank in earlier. We've just got to get some power, I think, to there. There's going to be a bit of faffing around trying to get the tacho on the TD working with the TB dash. But overall, we're winning.
While Sam's working on this, we're going to address some potential comments that we're going to see before you even leave them. So, external gates, someone's going to say, why didn't you run an external wastegate? Well, number one, United Fuel manufactures this turbocharger with an internal wastegate. There is a good reason for that. It's the best option for your diesel engine when you're trying to control a lot of boost pressure. What I think a lot of people forget when it comes to diesel engines is that while we do focus on boost pressure out the turbo, we don't think about exhaust manifold pressure necessarily enough. It's not something we can change after we've already purchased whatever it is we have, but it is something to consider when you're thinking about wastegate options. Now, the internal wastegate on this turbo, it controls boost perfectly. When I mean perfectly, I mean like if you want 18 pound, it will just make 18 pound. If you want 35 pound of boost, it will make 35 pound of boost. It does that because of its design, specifically because of its size. It ventilates the perfect amount of exhaust manifold pressure to hit your desired boost pressure, call it 35 pounds. The problem is when you go and fit an external wastegate, they're often 38 millimeters or 50 millimeters in diameter, and that surface area with all that manifold pressure against it, almost irrespective to how much spring pressure you fit into that external wastegate, the surface area alone with the pressure against it causes it to push open. So in situations here on the dyno where I've had cars in that want to make 400 plus horsepower, and they've done what they feel are the adequate modifications to do so, such as a 38 or 50 millimeter wastegate with 40 PSI springs on it, we still struggle with running more than 30 pound. That's because once that 50 millimeter gate opens, we are bypassing so much exhaust energy, we lose all that drive in the turbine side of the turbo. You want to have the gate as small as possible so that you can ventilate the least amount of exhaust energy away from that turbine when you need it. So I hope that explanation clarifies why there's no need for an external wastegate on this engine, and specifically most diesels all the way up to 400-500 horsepower. There does become a time where you can and do need to run them, and it's realistically nowhere near what we're looking at here. We can run up to 500 horsepower in a diesel with an internally wastegated turbo. No problem with boost control whatsoever. The bigger you go, the harder it is to control boost, as we've seen with Sam's Petrol 80, which we're having the complete opposite effect of. It's running too much boost because the gate is in the wrong spot, or the flow, the exhaust energy is bypassing it. So you introduce all these kinds of problems, and we're trying to obviously completely avoid those, have a perfect result with this turbo, but we've tried and tested thousands of times. So that's your explanation there. And I forgot to mention, it just doesn't even sound that good. It's a diesel with a gate. It actually doesn't sound that good. I get it, you want to get a lot of TikTok followers, but it actually doesn't sound that good. It sounds like a lamb dying,
right,
little sheep.
All the P platers right now. No, but Sam's other car's got a screamer on it. That means it's cool. Shut up.
It's cool.
You're a child.
Get off TikTok. How about that?
Yeah, go get a job. What's up, baby? this is why we come to HD Auto, people, because they know this stuff. You gotta be so careful with who tunes cars, because there's so much to it like that. It's not just like, oh, there's more boost, we need to just wind this in, more fuel, off you go, there's your car, and it's sooting, it's getting hot, you're melting pistons, etc. There's a lot more to this and a lot more adjustability than what a lot of people think. So you need to really be careful with who you trust to tune your cars, especially mechanical stuff like this. Hence why we're here at HD Auto. Other thing worth mentioning, this is basically, a fuel pump. It's pumping fuel from the tank. In our particular setup, we're running a Carter lift pump too.
Yeah, so I've written a few articles about this. So there's a certain amount of fuel that this can pull, and then like the quality of the fuel lines and the fuel tank and the breathers and all that all play a part in how much fuel can actually get up to this pump through this line here.
Yeah.
And then like how much pressure that pump's demanding as well, because they do have their own pressure regulators on the pumps and whatnot. So there's a certain limit in which this can pull. So at some point in your diesel engine, I call it anything above 200 horsepower on a TD42, you need to fit a low pressure lift pump down near the tank, so that it is actually pushing between 5 to 7 PSI fuel pressure up to that pump, so that it can maintain like consistent pressure of fuel to that pump.
I guess not the perfect analogy, but like a surge tank in our 80. It's always got the fuel there. There's a pump down here getting it to the surge tank, and the surge tank's there ready to get it to the engine when it needs it. So it's taking a little bit of stress off this. This is looking incredible. We're getting very close to dumping this in the car. Might be a job for tomorrow though, because it's looking a little grey and dark outside.
Still working in the rain, believe it or not. We've got a roof.
Crazy. My shed in Amber almost didn't have a roof actually. It was so humid inside there, it felt like it didn't some days. Shall we finish tightening this up and...
I think you're missing parts.
Kiss.
He's missing parts.
I am missing so many parts.
Day 2.
Okay, outfit change means it's another new day. Now, we crushed it yesterday, and hopefully today we get the engine in. A few things we've got to do beforehand. So this was the Tilex split pulse designed high mount exhaust manifold. It's early in the morning, I'm only had one coffee. This was our placeholder. We've got our coated one, so we're going to be swapping that over, turbo on, put that back on the engine. And then going to drive over to Nissan, quickly grab some new genuine flywheel bolts. We can get the flywheel, get that backing plate in, swap the bell housings around, get the motor in the car. Then hopefully by this afternoon, the rest of our new genuine parts that we need to finish this job will be here. And then we can get this thing sitting in the bay for the first time and see how it looks. And then it's just a matter of a little bit of wiring, a little bit of fuel system, a little bit of tuning, and bada bing, bada boom. You do whatever you like, baby. You do whatever you fucking like. Okay, a little shout out to our boy Luke from Luke's Fasteners. He sent us ages ago these exhaust manifold studs and nut and washer kit. They're actually all titanium and they're super nice quality. So hopefully this gives us a little bit of longevity, a little bit more bling. It's a little bit nicer than just using a standard stud and nut on there too. And you know, we're in the industry of no expense spared, so here we are. One of my lovely subscribers provided us with a backing plate that we desperately needed and could not get anywhere for free. So massive shout out to him. But what I didn't realize is that TD42 silver top is different to factory turbo. Everything is the same except the internal diameter of the bit that goes around that rear main sort of section where the flywheel bolts up. So we're just gonna basically use our little naughty boy here to make the hole able to accept my large prosthetic. As you can see, the fist currently doesn't fit. We're about to fix that. Shall we? The perfect circle was never going to be here, but what we can now do is successfully fist it. Oh yeah, baby. Thanks for coming. Ooh, ooh, bah, bah, bah. Three snap. Doesn't take much for daddy to get on his knees these days. This right here, our nicely powder coated TD42 manual bell housing. You can use the TB ones, you just have to re-drill a hole for the starter motor. We did our due diligence like we tried with the tank, but this was actually successful. So we got this, we're gonna climb in and chuck that on the gearbox in the car. This is pretty much ready to go in the car as well. We've got a couple more parts coming from Nissan. Then we can put the vac pump on, we'll get that O-ring, that front cover can go on. the timing cover there. And then we've got an oil feed that goes to the back pump and runs behind the UFI 12 mil and goes in back here, I believe. There's a couple of other bits and pieces we're waiting on, but we are getting so close. This will go in, we've got the clutch on. It's all happening. By the end of this episode, which will be very soon, this is gonna be in the car and we'll finally get to see how it looks. Clean bay, beautiful new TD, everything bolted up. Very keen. Clean hand Sam. How am I meant to be clean hand Sam? Your hands are f***ing dirty. Get in there. Yep. Who hurt you?
Hurry up!
JJ, it's all gonna be okay. Good opportunity to promote our Tie Gear straps. Perfect for installing your engine. Ah! What the hell, Barry? That felt very nice. TD42 life. Okay, JJ has actually pumped it out today and we got the engine in, sitting in there, bolted up, looks $1 million. We've got so much more work to do here at HD before this thing can get started and run up on the dyno and go on its first trip. You suckers are gonna have to tune in to next week's episode for that. Hopefully you've liked this. If you're loving the engine, subscribe and we will see you next Thursday. Or don't. Tune in or don't, I don't care. I don't care. I recommend you do though. Bye.